Hello, my pretties. I guess I'll talk about how I got interested into hypnosis. I wanted to record this while I was working on this 3D file, but due to my computer being old and having its fan running all the time, I guess I can't, so I'll just record this separately from my work I'm currently showing on screen. So, I never was, actually into hypnosis, most people usually get interested with it because of the fact it's kind of like mind control. That was never really my interest. I actually was just interested in, the trance state. It all started when I was, a little kid, and my mother always had, these weird, nervous issues where she would drop into trance pretty easily. I think it was probably a coping mechanism. I don't really know. And because I wasn't quite normal in the head either. I'm sure everyone on the internet nowadays has some sort of mental illness, so it's pretty normal. Everyone's kind of fucked in the head. So I had hyperfixations, and I guess one thing led to another, and I was just super fixated on going into a trance. So I mean, throughout my life, I always thought it was really fucking weird, but now looking back on it, I was basically a 5-year-old who wanted to get really fucking high. I just wanted to, get real chill, I just wanted to, lay back and just absorb the environment, man. I just wanted to go to Mars, dude. So, yeah, that's how it all started. I was just always interested in, altered states of mind, but mostly, relaxed states of mind, sleepy, calm, peaceful. I guess it kind of helped, given that I was, never really, right in the head. I could never get, good night's sleep, anxiety, all that other dumb bullshit I have to deal with. It did really help in the long run, but, going back to what got me interested in hypnosis, it was mostly just interested in any, state like that. And, I was actually introduced to hypnosis at a pretty young age, since my mother used it for, I guess, her treatment. I would just kind of, normalize to it. I was a super, science type person, so I was, completely okay with accepting it as just a normal thing, while other people might look at it as, this weird alien, scary thing that might not be real. So, I didn't really find it that weird. Everyone else I see who get into hypnosis usually immediately assume what it's from, cartoons and, Saturday morning cartoons where it's, mind control. I was never like that, and my interest in hypnosis did not start, when I was, younger. I just thought it was, another part of, altered states of mind. But it was much later that I actually started, wanting to incorporate hypnosis into, certain things. I was sort of, fascinated by it, but I was never, super, interested into it until I was, I think about, 15, 16, where I started, I wanted to do, really trippy psychedelic stuff. I wanted to, do dreams, which I always thought was weird, but I wanted to, get over that, embarrassment of, talking about your dreams. I know to everyone else it's, just boring. But to me, I thought, oh, that's just too fucking weird. It's too embarrassing. But I thought, I'm gonna get over this fear. I'm gonna work on, making, dream-based stuff, weird, psychedelic, trippy stuff, really far-out stuff. And I started, working with a character who did, hypnosis. Originally, the character wasn't really a hypnotist. The character was just, had potions, carrying around potions. And that's what they used, and then eventually the character just evolved into, a hypnotist, and then I was why don't I try hypnosis? It seems safe. It seems kind of, interesting. So I started with, self-hypnosis files, which were, extremely boring, and then there was, a whole, gray period where I was, listening to, ambient music and ambient files, binaural beats, isochronic tones, all these, crazy shit that I don't even know works or not. It could be, a whole placebo effect. But to me, it was, real enough that it got me into, an altered state of mind. I did have like a really bad period, like a down period, where I was so interested in hypnosis. I got into like a really shitty relationship with someone. I wouldn't even call it much of like a relationship. They just sort of took advantage of me, and that just like put me into like a 5-year like down period where I was just like trying to figure out my life, because it kind of fucked me up for a while. Yeah, if that's something you're like wondering, like why I'm so upset when people like refer to me to like the mainstream hypnosis community, which is like very sexualized, why I get upset about it, why I don't want to be associated with it that much. Like people are like, oh, you're gonna like really be interested in like meeting this person, or you're gonna be really interested in like being recommended, or blah 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 blah. And like I know it's nice, I know you're like trying to be nice about it, but to me I just feel like I went through all these years trying to like get over the fact that I was forced into like sexualizing hypnosis. So it's like, to me, I just find it kind of gross, like when you do that. Like I've seen people like do that where they refer to me as if I'm like trying to like sell like porn or something. I don't even know. Like I've had so many weird like interactions. Like it gets me a little bit more upset than usual, because I've been like trying to deprogram myself from being like abused. Like the hypnosis community is extremely toxic, and it made me think a lot of things like I regret like thinking. So to me it's just like, please no, please don't like refer to me as like a porn artist or something just because you yourself find it sexual. To me, I just find it like both uncomfortable, and it just feels like the grooming that I went through when I was like younger. It's just, there were so many factors that led to it, but anyway, yeah, and it brings me to now where I'm like more confident with myself, and I like doing like I like looking at hypnosis as a hobby than all these years of like confusion of like being a part of like weird communities and made me like doubt myself. But like, yeah, all this stuff led up to me and my interest in hypnosis, because it just felt like it was safe enough for me to get interested, and even though I had like a lot of bad experiences, I didn't give up on it. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't give up on it, because I found a really nice friend who is also my hypnotist that is an amazing person, and I honestly don't think I would have this much confidence as hypnosis as I do now if I hadn't have met them. Like, we both helped ourselves. Like, I really helped them with like getting over kind of like the toxic ideology that the hypnosis community just like festers in, and they kind of helped that with me. Like, I don't even know where I was like a year ago. Like a year ago I thought I was like all of them. Like you couldn't, like, I really thought I couldn't be like interested in hypnosis unless I sexualized it, and it made me just feel like I couldn't be normal unless I like felt like that. And then, you know, after everything, after talking and becoming friends with someone, just, you know, knowing that hypnosis just could be like a hobby for me made me kind of like more confident in myself. And yeah, I honestly don't think that I would even be here today if I was like, if all these things happened to me. I would have never been interested in hypnosis if I hadn't like incorporated into a story. I wouldn't have stayed this long if I haven't found like a friend who could just like help me through like the situation like this. And this is just another thing to people who are interested in hypnosis who aren't like part of the more like sexualized part of the community, is that like you could still enjoy it without feeling pressured or feeling like you have to take some sort of identity with hypnosis. I mean, it could just be a hobby for you. You could just do it for fun, and you don't have to constantly like feel like it's something like what everyone else says it is. Because it really does feel like that when you get into the communities, everyone's just like, oh, I sexualize it, so you must sexualize it too. Let me talk to you about like really personal stuff that anyone else would not be comfortable with, and you just feel kind of like, oh, that must be it. Oh, and on top of that, I think I was like in the closet for a really long period of time, and that really fucked with my mind when like approaching hypnosis. Like not knowing what your sexuality is, and then you're in part of a community that just is super sexual, and you're just so confused. that also really screws with your mind. And the political side of it too, like, I don't even want to get into that. That's like a whole other conversation, but that also kind of screws with you, because there's a lot of grooming that goes on in there too. I know, like, people talk about that talking about consent means that it's easier for, like, people to avoid, like, sexual predation, but honestly, I don't feel like that. Like, there's a lot of language these people can use that uses a sort of, like, positive language, and they could use it to abuse people with. I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's just, like, it's kind of scary. Like, I know that people really want to, like, have better conversations about sex ed, but sometimes people can really just use this language to, like, groom people and abuse people, and you'll never know it. It's been, like, a thing you see with all these predators being outed nowadays. They all talk about how they're body positive, how they believe in consent, and then you find out they have, like, this whole, like, underground, like, grooming ring, and it's just, like, it's all these things that kind of compile into each other that would have, like, drove me away from hypnosis years ago. But, like, I'm happy where I am, and I'm happy I like hypnosis, and that's basically how I got here. So, yeah, that was a lot to talk about, but I'm glad I could talk about it with everyone. See ya.